Hi there, welcome back to another Crypto Dave video. It's Friday, which means another crypto interest rates and news update. Today is the 11th of June 2021. And as always, we start by taking a look at any new coins or interest rate changes, and nothing really to report here. A few fluctuations in Swissborg. We've seen a little bit of a dip in the rates for Bitcoin and Ethereum, but conversely a bit of an increase in the rates for Binance and USDC over the last week, but nothing really major to announce or make you kind of aware of. So moving over, taking a quick glance at the token prices, you can see here Bitcoin down 4% over the last 7 days. Had a big dip down obviously a few days ago, middle of the week, but we've recovered basically all those kind of losses, and we're kind of moving sideways. I think probably in this kind of 32 to 38,000 kind of range. Will bounce a bit between those kind of like highs and lows, maybe a slightly narrowing range over the next few weeks. I can see sort of increases and sort of bounce up to the top of it, a rejection, bounce down to the bottom, a rejection. So tracking sideways within that kind of range, maybe for the next 2 or 3 weeks, end of June, maybe beginning of July, before we get a breakout. Hopefully that will be to the upside, and I think it will be. I think a little bit of consolidation now after the turbulent times we've had in the last few weeks is probably quite welcomed by most people in the kind of industry. And then if we can sort of like maintain a bit of a kind of base, sort of maintain some stability in the kind of prices, and then look to kind of tick upwards from there, I think that will be good. But none of the tokens have performed as well as Bitcoin this last week, all losing more than double the amount that Bitcoin have. Swissborg particularly bad, down almost 18% over the last week. I mentioned this last week, but I think all the people that were positive about community premium bringing in lots of new buyers for the coin have now probably given up on that idea. I did say last week, and I've been saying for kind of a couple of weeks now, that I think until the rates for Bitcoin and Ethereum in particular improve on Swissborg and stabilize, so it's not just the rates that are announced right at the beginning, but the rates that they end up at. So here we had, was it 9% for Bitcoin when it went live, down to 5.75 now. Ethereum was up to 20% or whatever it was when they launched. That's down to 7.25. So we've seen that gradual downward kind of trend, and I think people that are within the industry that maybe holding coins on different platforms will look at Swissborg and go, well, not only are the rates not great now, but they've been tracking kind of downwards. So I think that's probably the reason why there isn't really a lot of buying pressure for Swissborg, and because of that, the token price doesn't do really well, so nobody's jumping on the price just because the price is going up. So I think it's going to be a bit of a slow burn for kind of Swissborg over the next weeks and months, unless they can increase their kind of yields and really kind of push that stability on the yield front as well. Everything else, pretty poor week across the kind of board. Celsius has had a really good few weeks, but down similar amount to kind of Nexo. Nexo, I think, will be a little bit disappointed because there's been quite a few announcements, and we'll go on to those now. And the first one is obviously the governance results. Now, I've talked about this over the last few weeks. Nexo basically have been doing a dividend, a yearly or bi-yearly dividend, and there was a proposal basically for anybody who held Nexo tokens on the platform could vote whether they wanted to continue with the dividends or move to daily interest, and there was an overwhelming vote for daily interest. So here's the vote results. Total participating tokens, so 362 million. Now I believe that it needed 300 million in order to pass, so it went over that. Not maybe as much as people were expecting, but the votes for, almost 90% voting for, just over 10% voting against. So as promised, we are now earning daily interest. This is now live on the account, and there will be a final dividend. I believe that's coming out on the 16th of June, if I remember correctly, but there will be this final kind of dividend. As you can see here, finally a loyalty dividend worth what's that, just under $20.5 million will be distributed on the 16th of June. So that will be distributed to everybody holding tokens at that snapshot, but people will be earning now daily interest on the Nexo tokens in the platform. So nice to see that that's kind of passed. I did actually vote for interest, so I'm quite happy that's gone ahead. And then a few other stories from Nexo. Firstly, and we talked about this a bit in the past. Nexo were the first company to do this, but basically proof of reserves. And I talked about this a lot at the time when Ledden did this proof of reserves. So they basically engaged a company called Armanio. was it Armanino? I've never heard of these actually, but Armanino, it's a big accounting firm. I believe it's a top 25 accounting firm. It's the same firm that did the Leaden proof of reserves, but Nexo have basically engaged them to do the same thing. So they're going to provide real-time attestation over their digital asset holdings. Sorry, a bit of a mouthful. Mumbled over that a little bit, but basically I think this is really positive, and I think this is something that a lot of these platforms are going to have to do more of. I talked about this at length when Leaden did it. I thought that it was a really good sort of first step for the industry as a whole, proof of reserves and stuff like that, and nice to see Nexo going along the same kind of lines. They're using the same company, so it may be that other companies like kind of BlockFi, I think probably Celsius will be further down the list, but it may well be that other ones also go to these kind of platforms in order to get proof of reserves and some sort of like guarantees and kind of backups for people that they are holding what they say they are holding. So quite interesting. I think people have been a little bit negative on kind of Nexo in the kind of past about the fact that they're not based in North America or the UK or anything like that, but I think this is really positive. So we're interested to see when this kind of comes out, how long it will take them to kind of do it, but I'll be keeping an eye on the results of this, and we'll be going through those when they are actually kind of provided. And then another story from Nexo. Now I think this came out just at the end of last week, but I missed it then, but basically they've introduced this new option which I think is quite interesting. So it's a collateral exchange option for what they term their instant crypto credit lines. Basically it's crypto-backed loans by any other kind of name. This is what they call their crypto-backed loans. But basically, a lot of people with these big dumps over the last kind of few weeks have been margin called on a crypto-backed loan. So when the loan for most people, when it gets to 70% loan to value, they'll be asked to top it up. When it gets to 80% or something like that, they'll be liquidated, and the Bitcoin or whatever it is they're using to back the loan will be sold off in order to kind of like to cover the kind of cost of the loan. But basically what this allows you to do, so if we say you borrowed when Bitcoin was worth $50,000, then you've seen the price kind of drop and you think the price might drop more. What it will allow you to do is convert the Bitcoin that's actually kind of backing that loan into a stable coin. So if the price of Bitcoin continues to kind of like go down, you're not going to get kind of a liquidated or margin called. So I think this is really it's a really interesting idea. I think it's a really good idea. I don't know how well it will work in reality, but it's certainly something I'm going to have a look at in a little bit more detail. If anybody has actually used this and actually kind of done it, I'll be really interested to hear your thoughts and your experiences in the comments below. But basically quite simple to do it. You go into the Nexo platform, click exchange, you select your credit line wallet, and then you pick the pair and the amount that you want to swap, and that should be as good as that. So as you can see here, your excess collateral can be exchanged for any other supported asset at any time. The collateral already used to back an existing credit line can only be exchanged for currencies with a loan to value ratio equal or higher than the ones of the collateral used. So I think for most people it will be people probably kind of moving from Bitcoin or Ethereum into stable coins during periods of volatility and downward kind of pressure on the market, and then maybe moving back from stable coins into kind of Bitcoin when the market starts picking up. But I think this is a really interesting development. Nice to see sort of like a new take on some sort of like sort of traditional kind of like products. So this is just crypto-backed loans, but allowing people to deal with dips in the kind of market and stuff like that in a slightly different way to just having to top up with more of the same crypto, I think is a really interesting idea, and be interested in see if this is taken on by other providers as well. And then a couple of other stories. This was one from Celsius, and basically Alex Mashinsky, who's obviously the CEO of Celsius, is partnering basically with iHeartMedia. So he'll be doing a new sort of crypto and personal finance podcast. It'll be going live later this year. This is nothing to do with the existing Celsius AMAs and stuff like that he does on a weekly basis. But basically there's a joint endeavour with iHeartMedia, and they will be doing basically a podcast. So as you can see here, will feature Alex discussing a wide range of topics both inside and outside crypto, including fintech trends, personal finance, trade and regulation. So a slightly more, I suppose, open sort of podcast, open to more people, a little bit more generic than maybe the quite detailed Celsius based AMAs that we've been used to seeing from him. So I think anything that brings kind of crypto, brings some of these ideas of personal finance to more people, I think is a good thing. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like when it launches. I'll be keeping an eye open for this and maybe listen to the first few episodes, see what it's like. And then lastly, Len, we normally talk about the interest side of things, but just a quick note that they have lowered their interest rates for crypto backed loans. So it used to be 1% a month, so it's 12% a year for a 50% loan to value. They only do 50% loan to value with Bitcoin back in it, but they've actually lowered that from 1% a month to 0.79%. So that makes the annual rate 9.5% instead of 12%. And obviously there is that admin fee, 2% admin fee for all their loans. So there's information here if you want to read about it. As always, links to all these stories will be in the description below. But it's basically just talking about the market conditions and how they're able to kind of like lower their rates. And then finally, a lot of people have asked me about a Yield app. I've received quite a few comments about this. Now, I have signed up for an account. I haven't deposited any crypto yet, but it's quite a nice kind of platform. It's quite looks quite easy to use. At the moment, they only offer ETH, USDC, and USDT, which is Tether, and their own token, which is obviously the Yield token, similar to kind of Swissborg when they kind of started. Now they're not currently offering Bitcoin, similar to Swissborg. Once they do start offering Bitcoin, I might include this in the spreadsheet and stuff like that. But a number of people have asked me about this, asked me to kind of like talk about it. So if people are interested, I may well deposit some money in that. In the platform, see how it kind of works and stuff like that. To be honest, I don't really have any Ethereum in any of these kind of platforms. So the platforms here, I used to hold Ethereum in BlockFi and Celsius and maybe crypto.com, like way back in the kind of day. I also had some in Swissborg. Now at the moment I've moved that all over into kind of DeFi, so I'm anything kind of Ethereum based or Ethereum kind of backed, I tend to use DeFi platforms as opposed to the CeFi at the moment. But if people are interested in a yield review, I'm happy to deposit some Ethereum or something like that there, see how it kind of works. Basically 10% you're earning Ethereum, USDC and USDT, and then where it says up to 20% looks like the additional amount, 2 to 10% bonus, is in their own tokens. And I believe the amount you get is according to how many tokens, yield tokens you hold. So very similar to your Celsius and the Nexo and Swissborg and stuff like that. But as I said, if people are interested in me looking at this in a little bit more detail, I'm happy to do that. And as I said, once they include Bitcoin in their yield kind of program, we'll be including it in the spreadsheet. Now that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching. As always, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. If you can give me a thumbs up, that would be fantastic. Hopefully I'll see you on the next video. But until then, have a great day. Bye bye.